The Sciforror Film Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sciforror Film Podcast.
We control the horizontal and the vertical, don't we, Andy?
I don't know about you, but I can't control anything.
I can't control a fart, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
yes.
Walker. This is Badger. Hello, Badger.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm okay-ish. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I mean, I did 11,000 steps on my holiday, so my legs feel like old pieces of leather.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I'm kind of managing under the onslaught of local wildfires and things, and youths being arrested for setting fire to things, which don't help.
No, that does not help. Amusingly enough, the heat wave that we've been experiencing, totally in Scotland, freezing cold. In York, manageable. Come back here, feel like I'm being burnt alive.
I saw a thing yesterday. Mark Steele, comedian, he's gone up to Edinburgh for the Fringe Festival, and he said, so here I am in Edinburgh, and it's bloody freezing. All the local shops are full of English people trying to buy jumpers because they're freezing cold.
Yeah, I was like, why is it so cold?
Yeah. Well, that's what happens, you see.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, nowhere to go, nowhere to go now if we have a hot summer. Off to Scotland for 3 weeks.
My missus can't handle this hot weather at all, and she said to me, right, that's it. She said, we're going to buy a place on Shetland.
Just go to the Antarctica, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Shetland sounds good. I wouldn't mind that. Okay. Yes. Film.
Yes, indeed.
Stuff. We are doing horror this week. It's something a little bit different. We go over 2 short horror films, and our third film, which is the feature film, is actually a documentary. So something a bit different. Yes. So we will start off with the first of our 2 short films from 2023, and it's called Warnings. The writer and director is Curry Barker. The cast is Hayley Fitzgerald, Curry Barker, Cooper Tomlinson, Riley Barker, and Malcolm Kellner. And the synopsis says, when Sean finds a mysterious note on his car, he questions where it came from and why strange things are beginning to happen. Dun, dun, dun. I really quite like this film, actually. I liked it. I think that there was some good effects, but it's not effects driven.
No. And I like the fact of it was one of these things where it's like, ooh, you managed to do that on a budget. That's interesting. How did you do that with no money? And it was one of those. It was like, they literally had some tape, some bits of paper, and a smile. And I was like, well done to Curry for doing that,
Absolutely. I mean, it's got some quite creepy bits in it because it's quite it's a sort of psychological horror more than...
Yes, most definitely. And I really enjoyed it. And obviously, since I watched Obsession first and then this, you think, oh, I know where he got the inspiration for the tone of Obsession.
Yeah.
The music was very similar. I don't know if you noticed that some of the music in Obsession and this were very similar.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, tonally, it was very similar. And I liked that,
Yeah, and it's incredibly well written and well made, as you say, considering it's done on a budget. It was really Really well done. I like that the story kind of circles back on itself, and there isn't really a definite ending to it.
No, and it's one of these things where it's like it verges on sci-fi, doesn't it? Because obviously the main character, is trying to break the loop by telling himself these different things are happening,
Yeah,
and it's like, ooh, okay, this is interesting because how's he going to play this out next time and the time after? And I do love that because it makes you think, you know,
it, the only thing there is only one point in the whole thing that after I watched it, and it wasn't until after it had finished that I was sitting there going, "Oh, yeah, that was quite good," and I thought, "Hang on a minute, wouldn't he have recognised his own handwriting?"
yeah, this is it, isn't it? Yeah, I was a bit
You
like,
know.
yeah, there is that. I didn't think of that. But the only thing that broke the illusion for me was at the very end when they obviously had the plastic scythe and the plastic gun and the
Yeah,
weird walking. That didn't resonate with me. The weird
yeah,
walking, I was like, no, I didn't like the face, the makeup of the girl when she was doing the weird walking was great. But I don't think they needed to do a slow mo weird
yeah.
ballerina thing.
I think it
Just
was
her
supposed
being
to be.
present,
I
just
don't
her
know.
being present in the room with the weird face would have been better.
Yeah,
And for me, unless you're going for something comical, like I would, I wouldn't have put the scythe in it.
I think
I would have maybe used a real knife or something.
I think it's kind of like was supposed to be kind of a dream thing, and they had all been dressed up for kind of like for Halloween type
Yeah.
or something like that. So yeah, I know what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you, but I think it was a bit. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film, really well made, and I'd like to see more of what he would do if he was to kind of expand on these sort of ideas, not necessarily with this story, but
Yeah.
similar sort of ideas.
Well, I really, like I said, that was the only thing I'm picking at it, really.
Yeah.
They were my only little complaints. Otherwise, it was fantastic. He is doing a new slasher horror that involves like monsters and stuff. I think
Okay.
it's called, yeah, and it's one of these things where it involves like I mean, I only read the blurb quickly because I hate spoilers.
Yeah.
But it was one of these things where it was like uh, three or four sort of like late teens, early 20s go into the woods and they experience all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they encounter cryptids and things like that. I don't know when that's coming out, but it looks really good.
Oh,
And I really think he's going to be like one of the top horror maestros.
yeah.
I think he's got the legs to do well.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
because Obsession made an absolute fortune off of its budget. So I think
Yeah.
once you get that once you've done that thing where you only spend a little bit of money and it generates tons, I think, he's going to do really well. But
Yeah.
like you say, I would love to. I mean, I don't know how many independent small projects he's done. So we'll have to look that up to see if we can see some more of his stuff before he made it big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Right. The next of our short films is something a little bit different. It's from this year, from 2026, and it's a film called Dead Echo. This is part of Tales from the 501st, which
Okay.
is an anthology series of films that are all fan films based around Star Wars.
Okay.
This is a Star Wars horror film.
Mm.
Uh, the thing I like about this is that he made a point. The guy who made this made a point of putting a thing in saying that no AI was used when he made this film,
Wow, that's good. Yeah.
and it's a.
So I know you're very much against AI in filmmaking.
I am.
Um, and I do think there's a parallel at the minute, isn't there, between the whole thing of AI and filmmaking being spoiled and Sony and the, physical media sort of crack. They're trying to get rid of it. And I do think both are going to ruin industries if they're
Yeah,
not careful.
yeah, I know, absolutely. So anyway, right, the writers for this are Michael Nevada and Brendan Prost. The director was Brendan Prost. The cast: Thomas Nicholson, Jess McLeod, and Daley Nelson. The synopsis says: a stranded Imperial TIE pilot crash lands on a mysterious asteroid following a brutal dogfight. With his power reserves failing, he must race against the clock to repair his ship, all while battling cosmic terrors lurking in the shadows and the psychological demons of his own wartime past. This is the second film in their anthology series,
Oh, okay.
so I don't know what the first one is. As you know, I am not a big Star Wars fan. I don't mind the films, but I'm just not big into them. But I thought this was a really good short film with really well made sets and some great effects.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm very similar to you. I enjoy the first six, and then I sort of cherry pick what I watch. I went to see Mandalorian and Grogu, and I watched bits and pieces that I think I would enjoy. So I'm very sort of like, I enjoy it, but I'm not like a mark or like a super fan.
No.
If it's on telly, I'll watch it, or if I've got a little bit of time, especially if it's Star Wars Day or something like that, I'll make
Yeah.
a point. But I'm not like constantly like looking at Star Wars stuff.
No.
And it was nice that they had this spin on it, because I think they've tried to do an official one, but it didn't quite land like a spooky one. But this is brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I liked about this is that the story, it works well within Star Wars as a whole.
Yeah,
But it also works really well on its own. It stands on its own as a good story.
that's right. Yeah, and it was thoroughly enjoyable, and the atmosphere, like that whole sort of thing, reminded me of Alien. That
Yeah,
lack of sound and that sort of thing. Like, ooh, what's going to happen next? And I really enjoyed the way that the two characters interacted. Even though they're on opposing sides, there
yeah.
is coming together to get rid of a sort of a mutual evil, and that doesn't really happen that much in Star Wars. I think they should do that more. It's like, what's going to drive these two sides together?
It kind of for a little while when they first started, I was reminded of, I don't know if you've ever seen Enemy Mine.
No.
It's a really good film. It's the same sort of thing. It says two pilots of different from opposing sides. One's human, and the other one's an alien, and they crash land on this planet, and they have to survive on this planet with each other's help because they're
Oh, okay.
sort of thing. It's a really good film, but it reminded me a little bit of that, the fact that you had the two opposing sides and they were having to rely on each other to get by. But I was worried for a little while that it was just going to be a rehash of something like that, but it wasn't. It was completely its own thing.
Yeah,
And I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. It's
yeah.
probably one of the first kind of Star Wars spin-off things that I've really enjoyed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, obviously, I enjoyed Mandalorian and Grogu, but that was light-hearted, accessible, fun for everyone.
yeah.
My missus doesn't even really like Star Wars, and she thought it was, fantastic. So
I
there's
mean,
that.
I haven't seen that. I mean, the last one that
Yeah,
I saw was that I liked was Rogue One.
yeah, oh, yeah. Me too. I really love Rogue One. Tonally, Rogue One and this fit together quite nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Rogue One had that slightly darker sort of feel about it, slightly grittier sort of feel, because I
That's
think
right.
they were kind of going back to what it would have been like before the first film, if you like,
Yeah.
so and this one does the same, and having the sort of horror element, kind of brought that out really well. I
Mm.
really enjoyed it.
I really did, and I can't even nitpick anything, because the way they ended it as well. Obviously, no, trying not to spoil this, but the way they ended it was great,
Yeah,
because You know, it all sort of made sense. And like you say, it was a self-contained story that you could watch, or if you're a fan, go ahead and watch all of these sort of fan
I mean,
films, you know.
I must admit, it has made me think that I might watch some more of their anthology if they're doing a full series of these sort of films, and they're going
Yeah.
to not necessarily be horror, but if they're going to be as well written, well made as this, might be worth watching them.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. I'll give them a look, definitely. You know.
Yeah,
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 thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'd be interested to see what else they bring in to the table. You know,
yeah,
like you say,
definitely.
are they going to do some different genres? You know, can you imagine like a Star Wars murder mystery and stuff? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that
You
would
know,
be. That would actually. It would be really cool. To sort of,
that's. I mean, for me, I don't know too much. You're more on the pulse of different genres and that, but I don't know if they've actually made a science fiction murder mystery film. You know, I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, there are ones that are basically murder mysteries in space, but they're not quite. I mean, they normally end up collapsing into sort of like big gunfights or things, and it's just
Yeah.
like. But I mean, it's a good idea. I'm sure there must be some out there somewhere.
Mm.
Somebody must have done one somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film.
Mm. And like you say, the darkness, the grittiness of it really lended itself to what was happening.
Yeah,
And like you say, it was one of these things where to begin with, you weren't sure if he was just having post traumatic stress from the war and stuff, because they don't really go along that. Yes, we always talk about how the good guys are affected, but no one ever really talks about how, you know, the Sith are affected by what's going on, you know.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, that's good. Good. Okay. Right. The feature film this week is from 2023, and it's a documentary called The Devil on Trial.
Yes.
And it's on Netflix at the moment. The writer and director is Chris Holt. This was used as the synopsis, basically the story for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
That's right. Yeah.
So the synopsis for this, the thing that they say about it, says, using reenactments and home videos, this dark documentary investigates the apparent possession of a young boy and the brutal murder that followed.
Mm.
This was the first and only time that demonic possession had officially been used as a defense in an American murder trial. There you go.
Mm.
Um, I found it an interesting film to watch. Very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting for me because obviously I've seen The Devil Made Me Do It,
Yeah.
you know, the
Oh, right.
Conjuring one.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously to see what was going on in reality, because a lot of the films, they do glorify the Warrens. They make them out to be like supernatural detective superheroes.
Yeah.
And they don't always show, they might well have been bits and pieces of that, but they don't always show the negatives to them. And this was highlighting some of the stuff that they did get up to that was a bit shady, you
Yeah.
know,
Well, I
like
mean,
bad book deals and things like that.
you know, I'm not a big believer. I'm not a believer in ghosts and demons and all that kind of thing and the such like, and
Yeah,
that sort of thing. But and that's one of the things I liked about this was that the end of the film, or the last part of the film, was showing you a different viewpoint and a different opinion of what was
yeah,
going on from somebody who was involved, and
yeah,
showing the things that the Warrens did that weren't that great.
exactly. Yeah, so it doesn't glorify them at all, you know. And obviously, you know, there's bits and pieces that obviously with this, it does open up to, you know, if you believe this side of it, you can. If you believe this side of it, you can as well. Because there is a mixture of all these things. And then obviously, with what they revealed right at the end of the film, that definitely either makes you think actually it was supernatural though, or it was what the mum was getting up to, you know. And so there is two sides to it.
And it seems to split the family, because there's like one guy in the family who was there at the time, who basically has been saying all the way through, and he's still saying it's all rubbish. And the other side of the family who are saying, no, this is actually what happened.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, obviously, no one's going to really know unless you were there. But
no, that's why
to be honest with you,
I say that's why I like the fact that you had both sides of the opinion, different opinions there, from people who were there, and that's something you don't get quite often.
No, but regardless of what you think, both sides of the story had, if you look in the background in their rooms or the set or whatever, they both had loads and loads of crosses and religious artifacts in the background. So regardless if they believed it was the tablets or not, there's a little bit of them that thinks, well, if it's not, I'm going to protect myself.
Yeah.
You know, you know.
I mean,
just in case, here's a ton of crosses on the wall.
I mean, I've seen documentaries of a similar nature to this. I've seen a couple about things like the Amityville House and the Enfield Poltergeist and all those kind of things. But I really like this one. I think it was incredibly well made, and it doesn't try to push a narrative. It does leave it for you to make your own mind up which side of the fence you fall on.
Yeah, and you do get to see real footage as well that's not been tampered with or anything like that. So that's really interesting. And the fact that you get to hear the real recordings and all this sort of stuff, like you say, allows you to make your own mind up which one you feel. Obviously, the Conjuring film did glorify a lot of the stuff, but the fact that the church was in the court case for a little bit and then went, we're not having anything to do with this, and all just walked off. Yeah. To me, that strengthens the fact that it could have been supernatural, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
But then, like you say, they could have just walked off because they thought, oh, this isn't supernatural. But they could have walked off also because they're like, this is too heavy for us. We don't want the devil on our back.
Yeah.
So there's two sides to that as well.
It's also, it's like sort of, the thing, one of the things about it was the fact that I liked is the fact that they had the lad who was been allegedly, apparently possessed, was on the show itself, and that's something you don't get very often, because of the fact that quite often these possessions and exorcisms and all those kind of things end with these people either dying or going mad. So, you know, the fact that he was there is a very important point for this.
That's right. And I mean, you could say, oh, the drugs have had quite a long time to get out of his system, things like that. But then on the other side of it, with drugs of that sort of thing, that is going to stay with you forever, you know?
Yeah.
Once they do that damage, it's going to stay there. So there's also that side of it, is that, you know, obviously he's able to look after himself mentally and either control the effect of the drug or control the effect of whatever demon tried to possess him, you know. The fact that he doesn't remember any of it can also be either drugs or possession, you know. Both have the factors.
You know? I mean, both factors, and also it can sometimes be a very kind of like, it's a very sort of like a great excuse for saying, oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, you know I mean? I know what you mean, yeah. But the fact that obviously... it's one of these things where once you watch the end of it, you think, well, regardless of anything, even if it was a ghost at play at some points, the mum was more evil than the bloody ghost, because she was literally drugging her whole family.
Although half the family don't believe that she did it.
Well, yeah, but it was on there. Oh, everyone's taken their medicine.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that whole joke of, have you seen the sort of comedy jokes of use new 90 snoozy snooze, and it's like it's like a woman spraying chloroform on a thing, like everyone's asleep now, you know. It's literally that.
Yeah, I know. One thing that I was a bit kind of puzzled by, and I want to find out more about, is when they show a piece from a American news item where they
Mm,
announce on there the fact that the trial's going ahead and that they're putting forward a defense of demonic possession.
yeah,
The guy says this is the first time that a defense of demonic possession has been put forward in an American court.
yeah.
And then he said, but there have been a few cases where it's been put forward as a defense in the United Kingdom or in Great Britain and parts of Europe. And
Oh,
in all
okay.
those cases, people were found not guilty.
Oh,
And I thought,
see?
I don't remember ever reading a thing about people putting demonic possession as a defence against murder in the courts in the UK.
I know. And I'm like, wasn't the last hanging in the 70s?
But yeah, I don't know.
So I'm a bit like,
I don't
was
know
this a weird
when.
time for law?
Yeah, I don't know when these cases were, or like, I don't know anything about. I've never heard anything about these.
Yeah,
So
we're
there's a
going to have
part
to
of me
do.
that wants to find out what that's all about.
I know, just be careful you don't start hearing weird noises and stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
not me, mate.
and we're doing my research alone at midnight.
No,
All of a sudden, the floorboards start creaking.
I'm I'm too boring for possession. But no,
Oh,
I
dear.
mean, it was interesting, and it's really worth watching. I think if you've watched the Conjuring films, it's
Yeah,
really nice to watch this, and as you say, get a view of what the Warrens may have been more, what they were like. They were
yeah,
they were had made a living out of this, and it had suddenly become this thing that was their income.
yeah,
Especially the book rights and all that kind of stuff. So, you do have to take it all with a pinch of salt, I think, what you know, they said
yeah.
and did. But
It's almost like this might have a bit of truth to it. So we're gonna, and even in the book, they were saying in the book deal, they're gonna sort of like over the top it.
yeah,
So, and obviously the book was more the inspiration for the Conjuring film.
yeah. They have put out a lot of books over the years about different specific cases and things, and you do, I do question their ethics as far as, if you're making money from something, how honest are you actually being with it?
Yeah, and it's one of these things. It's like,
are you sexing it up for the people to
yeah,
want to read it more?
yeah, it's a bit iffy, isn't it? But I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of the stuff is like it does make you think. It's like the Annabelle doll.
yeah,
I don't know if you read about that recently, but it went on tour, and
right,
it actually, you know, weirdly, I mean, you can put the two, oh no, it's got nothing to do with it, but it killed the bloke who was on tour with it,
right.
and there was a massive fire in the building that it was on tour on. So I'm like,
Yeah, maybe. I don't
you
know.
know,
Yeah,
I,
yeah, no,
regardless of anything, I do always believe that things hold energy. So, that's my hippie stuff is that, you know, this table used to be a tree. It still has energy of the tree. So I do believe that some things can absorb negativity. Whether or not that leads to supernatural stuff or not, that's more emotions.
yeah. I don't know. I like things like that as far as a story goes, but I don't believe it.
Mm.
I mean, I I, I like horror and I like uh, stories about ghosts and possessions and things like
Mm.
that. But I read them all as stories.
Yeah.
I've never put any belief in any of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I sort of I take bits and pieces what I think could be real. So, but like you say, it's down to everyone.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
unfortunately a victim of that horrible docudrama that they released on BBC Two that night. in the early 90s.
Yeah,
Do you
no,
remember that? I mean,
I remember it really, really well. And the thing that got me was the fact that even when it was shown, I remember watching it, and I remember all of the furore after it, people saying
that's
it
right.
was real and all this kind of thing. And I remember saying to my brother, "How the hell would anyone think that was real?"
Yeah. Well, I was little at the time, and obviously being a Halloween baby, my parents were like, "Oh, there's something spooky on telly. Stay up and watch it for your birthday." I remember having one of the biggest asthma attacks / panic attacks ever
Yeah, no,
because they
I
did
can
not say it was fake, and I was like absolutely bricking it.
I mean, I can understand that people, would have like reactions to that sort of thing, depending
Yeah,
on your age and what else has been going on and that sort of thing. But it never, I've always been a bit like that. I think I just kind of don't, I've never quite, you know, and it's one of those things I've kind of like, I don't believe in all that kind of stuff. And people say to me, "Oh, you're just not attuned to it." And I just feel
yeah.
that I just find that a bit of a cop out, really. It's a bit like, oh, looks, you know.
Well, it's one of these things where I think sometimes the more you don't believe, the more it's going to come knocking. You
Yeah.
know, so
I
one
mean,
day if you hear a
I,
creaky floorboard,
I, 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 I'm quite kind of like, I know it's really weird. I don't believe there's anything mystical about it or anything like that. But I quite like stories of, coincidences that are kind of a bit sort of difficult to explain. But I don't
yeah,
believe there's anything mystical in it.
no. I mean, I've had lots of weird things happen, um, like obviously, I can't mention where it was, but I was at work one night and it was late night, and nobody else was in the building apart from me and a few others, and we were wrapping up the evening school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, what's that noise?" So I peeked my head out the door while the teacher was shuffling papers, and no word of a lie, two doors just went whoop bump open, and then the other one went whoop bump open. You could say, "Oh, because I opened the door," but I didn't like open it with force or anything that would cause a gust. I
Yeah.
literally was like, "What's that noise?" And literally, these two doors just opened quite violently by themselves. And that's just one experience I've had.
I'm not dismissing and saying that, I'm not going to say you didn't have those experiences, because obviously you did. But, I mean, I don't know. It could be anything. It could, I think there
Yeah,
are lots of things that could explain it. Whatever that did actually cause it, I don't know. But,
it
I,
could have
I've
been a
just,
wind backdraft of some kind.
I've just,
You just don't know, do you?
no, I've just never been. I mean, I've been to places that are supposedly, "Oh, this place is incredibly haunted. There are spirits here that are seen by people all the time." And I've been there
Yeah,
and I felt absolutely nothing, seen
yeah.
absolutely nothing, and experienced absolutely nothing. And I
Well,
just kind of go, "Oh, it's all, yeah,
I went to Pluckley in Kent, which is the most it's literally the haunted hotbed of the UK, and
right,
it was once in the Guinness Book of Records to be the most haunted area, right?
right,
And I went during the day. I've been during the evening once, and it absolutely made me brick myself. And that's you can look that up on slight plug here. We've got a series called Investigators. Look that up. We did mention it, but obviously we went during the day, and then the three of us went and had something to eat. And no word of a lie, everyone went, "Oh, are you holiday makers? Where have you been?" And we went, "No, we're local." Blah blah blah. We've been to Pluckley, and literally the whole pub looked around and went, "You don't want to go there." What are you doing going Pluckley for? And I was like,
yeah,
it was like something out of an old 70s horror film where everyone in the pub just looked round and went, "Are you insane? What did you go Pluckley for?"
yeah,
So, you know,
yeah,
it's one of these things where, yes, the Warrens had some foul play, but there might have been some real stuff to it.
yeah.
And like you say, even if the kids all were drugged up, could there have still been a supernatural situation with it? You just don't know.
No, that's the thing. You don't know. You're never going to know.
Mm.
Okay, thank you very much. There we go. There
Well,
are 3 films. Got the Warnings from 2023, which was it's a very good film, really well made, and I'd like to see more from Curry Barker, definitely. Dead Echo from this year, which is a Star Wars horror film, which was really good. And again, I'm going to keep an eye on what they're doing to see what else they do. And the documentary of The Devil on Trial, which is currently on Netflix, that you can go and watch. And I think it's well worth a watch.
Yeah, and obviously, once you do watch it, let's strike up a conversation. Tell us, do you think it was real? Do you think it was the drugs? What do you think, personally, of what was going on? And we'll sort of have a little debate in the comments.
Absolutely, definitely. Okay, thank you, Badger, for being on the show.
Always a pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure.
Always good to have you. Next one, we will be doing science fiction, and we're doing something again a little bit different, which is the fact that this is an ongoing series. But at the moment, there are only 5 episodes on YouTube. It's a YouTube science fiction series. So it's called The Bad Ones.
Ooh.
So yeah, there are 5 episodes on there at the moment. So we'll do that next time and see where we go with that.
Looking forward to it as always.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I know nothing about it, to be honest.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, it's always good going in not knowing what you're going to have to expect. I love that.
Absolutely.
And that always, and that always adds to the enjoyment, doesn't it, when you get the surprises and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you very much to everyone out there. Please like and subscribe and share and tell everybody that we're here. Scream it from the rooftops and stuff.
Indeed.
As always, I will put links up to the films and all the stuff, and also check out Badger's site, because he has his own film reviews on there, as well as lots and lots of other stuff that's worth having a look at.
Indeed. And with the blessing from the missus, I've now relaunched the bad jokes on the channel as well.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's part of it. And I did also film a few little scenes for Ballamoran 2 while I was away. We've done the musical numbers. We've done some other bits. Greasy has added more to their part. And because of that, it's, this is why I love filmmaking, because Greasy's now added that little bit extra in, I've now sort of made a point to your cameo and several other cameos, because I'm like, well, that actually works. So I'm going to make these characters this. And I'm not going to spoil it because it's going to be fun.
Right.
But,
no, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is nearly done. And we're looking at about 1 hour and 17 minutes. So I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, right. So obviously, without too many spoilers, I'm thinking, can I wrap up a lot of the stuff I've done before with the Essex FBI and that sort of universe? Can I make it so that's all tied up nicely in a bow and I can start afresh in the new year or before with a total new storyline? And that's the direction we go in, is that I'm going to try and wrap up everything that was loose-ended. And I think, yeah. And I hopefully it'll work.
It does sound good. So yeah, go and check out Badger's. You can watch Ballamoran, and then when Ballamoran 2 comes out, you'll have some idea of what the hell's going on. Maybe.
Well, yes, and obviously do watch the Essex FBI ones as well.
Yeah. And
one of my favourite ones I think it was like the last film me and Nick did together before I moved from Essex, which was Essex FBI Investigates Spook Chat. And I think that was done like 3 days or 4 days before I moved or so.
Oh, right.
So do check that one. That was like the last one we officially did together, time-wise. Obviously, Ballamoran 2 is going to come out after that, but as you know. But
yeah,
that was our last one project we've done for a while. And if anyone is interested in appearing in bad B movies, please get in touch with Andy, and then Andy will get in touch with me, because I desperately need actors, and I desperately need people that are willing to do bits and pieces of scenes and stuff.
Cool. Oh, good stuff. Okay, everybody out there, thank you very much, and we will see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.